Hello and happy International Youth Day. It's fitting that this year's theme for International Youth Day is youth engagement for global action. Around the globe, we are seeing young people raising their voices and taking action in ways that I haven't seen before in my lifetime. Whether it's solving challenges in their communities related to COVID-19 or working to create a world that is more fair, equitable, and just, young people are more engaged now than at any other time in our history. The world's leaders, many of them who are of an older generation, must engage young people. Our collective future depends on it. For International Youth Day, I had the opportunity to sit down with some of our younger members of the IYF team, both past and present, to ask for their insights on issues that matter most. So join me in listening to their responses. What are the biggest obstacles to creating a more equitable, fair, and just world?
I think the biggest obstacles to creating a world that is just, equitable, and fair is the thought barrier and not wanting to break paradigms and stereotypes. It is usually very difficult to achieve a change when there are people who are close minded and only know a single way of seeing the world. These type of people are not usually willing to understand that not everyone lives the same reality as they do. Paradigms and stereotypes closes us to a single absolute truth, and to think that everything is either black or white. But the reality is totally different. There's a huge range of colors, and if we see that and understand it, the world will be more just, equitable, and fair.
I think one big obstacle, generally speaking, is the fact that changing systems is a lot harder than changing minds. And changing minds isn't all that easy. A lot of the most egregious oppression in our cities, our society, the whole world, is that it doesn't depend on individual people being oppressive. It just depends on people doing their jobs because so many public and private systems were designed to be inequitable in the first place. It takes a lot of sustained action to break those systems down, let alone build them back up better. That's a really tall order, but it's one of the big challenges of our time. So we can't back down.
How is COVID changing the way that young people can engage today?
As the director of a youth-led organization, I have had to, face the difficult question of how to reach the most marginalized and vulnerable youth during the pandemic. Before the pandemic, it was easy for us to go into communities, to work with children, and to empower them with soft skills and life skills needed for them to thrive in the 21st century. It was easy for us young people who volunteer with One African Child to gather, to brainstorm, and to do the work that we love. However, with the pandemic, we have had to rethink the way that we deliver our services. We have had to rethink even our focus and thinking about our work primarily reaching the most vulnerable. This period has made us question how impactful that work has been over the years and how impactful it will continue to be with the new changes.
During COVID-19 crisis revealed that complex issues cannot be tackled by applying single point solutions. Unfortunately, despite the complex and interconnected challenges arising because of COVID-19, most of the current recovery initiatives are still designed as projects to address specific issues linearly. Now, more than ever, there is a need to create a mechanism to replace separate response processes with an integrated stream or a system. What is necessary is a deeper understanding of the social, economic, and cultural dynamics that are conditioning the evolution of this crisis. We should insist on a world that cannot afford a lost generation of youth, their lives set back by COVID 19, and their voices stifled by a lack of participation. We need to do more to harness the talents of young people to address the crisis and its aftermath. We as youth can play a pivotal role in correcting the new ways, the way we do our development, the way we regrow our economies. We can do it together.
The pandemic has given us a more realistic perspective of the different contexts in which the population lives. Thanks to this situation, we know firsthand that our own experience is not the same as everyone's. Therefore, in order to create changes, we must be truly motivated and understanding that we are living this differently. We must be more creative in how to reach those who cannot have easy access to technologies. We have to get out of our comfort zone and think first of the people with the most difficulties to create a change with a real impact, but also a change of great value for everyone.
What do local, global leaders, many of whom are from an older generation, need to know about young citizens, voters, and future leaders?
I think young people have a reputation of being unengaged politically. Whether or not that was ever true, I don't think it's true anymore. As I was growing up and coming of age in the US, my view of politics was shaped by oil wars, then the recession, and just the persistent existential angst at the climate crisis. And with few exceptions like the Obama campaign, which was won by the youth vote, our political consciousness was shaped by global quagmires and the perception that our leaders are constantly letting us down. And for young people now, 6 months into a pandemic, let alone the political situation the last few years, there's still a whole lot to be discouraged by. But rather than despair, I see people taking action. I think the activist spirit and talent of the young people coming up now is a huge force for good and a power to be reckoned with. From the March to Our Lives to Sunrise Movement, it's young people leading the way on a lot of the biggest causes of our times. And that's, when they're proven you don't need to be elected to hold power because they're making massive waves and change as citizens. So I say to current leaders, ignore young people at your own risk because they're going to make big things happen with or without you.
What do local or global leaders, such as older generation, needs to know about the young citizen, voters, and future leaders? As this year we are marking 5 years of global goals implementation. So this year, as we are commemorating International Youth Day with the theme of for global youth engagement for global action, we are talking about now we should consider that young people are the largest population globally, and we are the people who make decisions on who we want to, on the system. So as the older generation needs to invest such like skills, knowledge, and also provide us like a safe space to practice and take collective efforts on position our world to the better of tomorrow. Young people ourselves, we know our challenges. So if we will be providing a platform, or we will be, if we also be engaged from the start stages to the last stages, by the organization, by the business, by the institution, we will come up. We know our challenges, so we'll also come up with tangible solution for our generation and for the future generation that is coming. So I think the organization, all entities need to keep that in mind, that young people must be full part and parcel of the programs or of the process.
What challenges do you or other young people face related to issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion? And how do you think we should address these challenges?
So mainly I think that we just want the world to be fair. We deeply care about gender equity, LGBT rights, civil rights, all of these because we just want to make sure that everyone around us has the same opportunities regardless of their race, gender, or sexual orientation. One thing that is also very important for us is to keep our planet clean and safe for a generation and also for the upcoming ones. I think that the actions that we take might be perceived as small, but collectively we are able to generate real impact. We are open about issues in our communities, we try to educate others when possible, and well, I think that we know how to use social media as a platform to share information and to fight injustice.
Finally, why should organizations, businesses, institutions engage with young people today?
I believe as young people, we face many challenges during our professional paths. We're commonly seen as unexperienced with a lack of compromise or interest. Those thoughts really discourage us when we're looking for a job. We also face a big lack of job opportunities. Recruiters want young people with a lot of experience. But how are we going to get that experience if we don't get that very first opportunity? We also face a lot of judgments about our image, the things we like and the things we don't like, the way we look, the color of our hair, the color of our skin, but those things are not important when we talk about our performance. Those thoughts and stereotypes really have to stop. We need others to believe in us as much as we believe in ourselves. We need the world to give us the opportunity to learn and work. We grew up in a different generation, with technology and media surrounding us. But that is not a disadvantage. Instead, it is an opportunity for others to know from us and to learn from us too, and to make a better team with different points of view and to build together the future leaders. This is why organizations and institutions around the world should give young people a lot of more participation, because we have the total will to learn and to grow. And this engagement would totally lead to a big transformation and to a better change for everyone.
It is important to bring the voices, the interests, the ideas, and opinions of young people at the forefront. I believe that the youth of today are no longer beneficiaries, they are also agents of change. Young people want to be partners and collaborators in development. And for this year's International Youth Day, it is very important for us to continue to build the capacity of young people to take action and to lead change. Happy International Youth Day.